Hi guys, hope you're doing okay and everyone's keeping well. We've got another really hot day over here. I just thought I'd give you an update on the bodywork on the 4-stroke 2-speed Ducati based on a Thunder Tiger 2-stroke bike. I think it had a little 15 engine in it, and I'll convert it to take a 4-stroke. Now, I hope you've seen my running bids. I did one last week and I did one the week before, and it's gradually I'm tuning it and getting better and better. And last week it decided to do a couple of flips on me. It was pulling wheelies and it was pulling long wheelies, like just with the front an inch off the ground and stuff like that. And it even tried to come up when it changed into second gear, which is quite good for such a tiny engine. You know, it's like 0.5 of a horsepower. But I'm over the moon with it. You know, the gear change gear. What I've done this week is I've actually altered the gear change timing, the shift timing, so it'll hold him first a little bit more. So I think the revs are going to be quite high when it changes. So whether it's going to come up in second gear, I don't know. We'll find out this week. Well, anyway, I've got a sort of body that I use for bashing and testing and all that. But I bought a new one off of Greg, and I'll put all the decals on. You know, it takes ages. The decals, well, they were like, how do you say, they've been like cut out, but very poorly. It must have been like a blunt sort of blade. You know when they get the clear sort of plastic all around it, but you can still see, you know, the edge of the transfer or the decal. It wasn't nice, so it took me a long while because I put them on and then I went around with a little scalpel and I trimmed them all up to make them look a bit neater. But, and the other thing, of course, is the rider. I got this off a Greg at Motor Bad Shop as well. This is off the Anderson. You know, the Anderson M5. It's quite a nice bike, and I think you'll agree with me. It fits on there a treat, and it's so much better than the rider you know that you got with these bikes. It just sort of lays on the bike. You know, it's that sort of harps back to the day when you first got your Novo Ferrara. The rider and the fairing was just like horrendous. You know, the early ones. I had one of the first ones that came into the country. Well, I bought off Ted Longshaw, and you know, it was, you know, being Italian, the instructions were like really hard to read and stuff like that. And it sort of, it had nice machine wheels, you know, and nice quality aluminium stuff on it, you know. But the fairing and the rider was just a horrendous thing, you know. And I think, you know, when the SB5 came out, and even the FM1E, Thunder Tiger Yamaha, that's a lovely bodywork on that, you know. But once again, it was let down by having a terrible rider, a plastic rider that it didn't even look like it should be on the bike. It didn't fit, you know. And, but anyway, rant over. I'm quite happy with this one. It's a little bit of weight to it, but not bad. You know, it still pops wheelies and things with it. I've been just gradually leaning the engine out a little bit, and it's getting more and more powerful. It sort of runs a little bit hot, but you get the most power out of it. You can just lean it slightly and get some power out of it, and it starts to wheelie, and it actually sort of tries to wheelie out your hand like your electric bikes do. But the other thing as well, like you see in the video, I had quite a few tumbles. The first one was a wheelie and a flip. And then I lost the front end. It's very slippery over that side of the car park, and I lost the front end and it slid away from me. I think it did that a couple of times. But I've also got a little problem with the front brake is sort of binding a little bit. I don't know what's happening there. I think I need a bit more clearance. It's either on the hexagon. I think it's binding on the hexagon there. You know as well as I do it. If it is too loose on the hexagon, the disc can sort of lock on, and if it's too tight, it can lock. It's got to be just right on there. And I've got a feeling it might be a little bit loose, and it's sort of grabbing. So that's sort of letting me down a little bit. But yeah, I hope you think. Well, I think it looks quite nice. I hope you do as well. I mean, it's you know, it'd be a shame to run this body. I mean, it looks you know, all the decals and everything. It's quite a plain sort of body, you know, there's not a lot on it. But I like it better than the little twin headlight thing that came down on it. But you know, it looks quite nice. And what I've been doing today while I've been sitting here, this is my basher body. It was plain reds and it was black to start with. And I just got all the black paint off the outside and painted on the outside. And I've just been running it around, as you know, with just a red body on it, just while I'm tuning it and doing the brakes and stuff like that. So today I got a load of stickers and I thought, well, I'll just try and make it look a bit, you know, it is me basher, and you know, it's a fairly strong thing. There's a lot of shoe goo here, there and everywhere on it, but it just makes it look a little bit better. And on that one, like the rider, I've got another Anderson rider. This is actually off my Anderson. It's getting a bit more of a hard time on the nitro than it does on the Anderson, but you know, it's got sort of like the holes in his hands. And if you put a bit of nitro, you know, the nitro fuel line, you put it on the handlebars and they grip on so tight, you know, it never come off. And I've got like one screw that goes into his back side, and I've not had a problem with it coming off. But, you know, I just put a little bit of decal on there or something like that, just to make it look a little bit better. And I'm hoping to get out with it tomorrow and test out the 2-speed. I think I can get that 2-speed a little bit crisper, but it's all matched with the engine revs. If you can get those engine revs just right and crisp, it will change gear. If it's not running, if it's running a little bit rich, and then it will change gear, but it keeps trying to pop out again. I've noticed as the tank leans out, as it drops down a little bit and it leans out a little bit, the gearbox starts to get really sweet, you know, and that's when it starts to pull wheelies and come up, you know. But I don't really want to change the mixture. I'll do a few laps with it rich, and then gradually it sort of comes to me, and I just, you know, lean it out a little bit, and you know, it comes into its own. And the super soft tyres are unbelievable on it. You know, I mean, I've had nitro bikes before, but I've got one with a little Nova Rossi 12 in it. It'll never wheelie. So I think it's because of the gearing, because you've got a lower first gear, that she's wanting to wheelie, and you know, it's a fantastic thing. Now the other thing I've been fiddling about with, as you know, I like my bikes, is this is a little, you know, the Kyosho riders, hanging riders, or whatever they call them. Now, you know, I've been running these bikes since the year dot, you know, and I think they've been around since the year dot as well, like me. And the thing, we found these tyres, these Mars tyres that go on the 390. You know, the Hobby King done a 390 belt drive bike. I've got one. It's a beautiful thing. You know, it's it's an incredible handling thing. But I still like these Kyoshos because, you know, the way the linear rider never gets old. And what we do now, we run them without crash bars because of these tyres. You can actually, you know, you don't need crash bars. You can, you know, the lean angle is ridiculous, but the only problem we had was the fairing at the bottom. Now, on the old Kyoshos, it's got a very wide, you know, I think this one was a Honda, really wide belly pan. So you're limited on the ground clearance by the belly pan. So we've been running without the belly pan on. So we've just been running, you know, half of it like they are. And, you know, you can't beat. I mean, look, you can see, it just wears his boots away. And it don't really do too much damage to the bike, because when you get crash bars in a bike, you know, they tend to pick up and then they throw it up in the air and do a lot of damage. You just grade the size. Now, I don't know if you can see, this one's slightly different. You can see how narrow that is, because this is not a Kyosho body, it's actually a Venom. And I think you can see a Venom over the back there. Look, there's one sitting there. I do like these bikes as well. You know, it was such a shame when these bikes came out. They were like, when the Venom bike came out, it was a great looking little thing and it went really well, but as soon as you had a little tumble with it, and it used to break. You know, I mean, it used to break the crash bar mounts out of the chassis. used to break the body mounts, the wheels used to break, you know, without, you know, a little tumble or something like that, and that'd be the end of your day. And then if you started putting brushless motors in them and stuff like that, and then you're really asking for trouble. But I've got one that's all tricked out with the carbon fibre frame, and it's got like good tyres on it. But like I say, that if you do a little bit of work on them, you know, you can get them to go really well, and they're a good fun, you know, fun bike. And unlike the 390, it's more tolerable over bumps and stuff like that, because it hasn't got the motor in the swinging arm, so it hasn't got any unsprung weight. It's purely like a real bike, so the suspension works really well. And you know, when they come out, they had all different pistons for the dampers and stuff like that, you know, and the setup sheets and everything. It was, you know, but it just died a death because where it was manufactured and the quality of some of the parts on it, you know, I mean, you know, they just snapped. You know, you wanted like sort of bendy nylon-y plastic for the body mounts and stuff like that, you know, and it's such a shame. But I bought that one, the orange one, I bought a couple of weeks ago. I got that really cheap off of eBay, and I'm keeping it brushed, and I've just changed the tyres on it, so I'll give that a little run. But going back to this one, I've got a few spare bodies, and I thought to myself, well, I wonder if I can fit this body on a Kyosho, so I can get more lean angle, and I haven't got a run with just half a body on, because it doesn't look very nice. And you can see how thin, I mean, it's superb, you know. I'm going to try it tomorrow, and I think it's going to actually like handle that, you know, brilliant, because I think it might just touch the fairing. No, it's going to touch his feet first, so it's going to actually touch his boots first before it, you know, hits the belly pan. So, you know, that's what I've been playing with. It was a little bit of a saga to fit, because the handlebars, I've actually cut the body, the seat and tank unit, so the handlebars come through there. You could put, I suppose you could put a body clip through there and a post, but you have to kind of, the servo is up in here for the leaning rider. So, you know, the rider actually, like, you know, it leans like that, you know. So there's a servo at the top here that does the steering, and it also does the rider, and that little piece in there, if you can see it. Now, you know, I had to cut like a hole in the seat for, there's two little arms that come up that actually move the rider, which that's not too much a problem. But where the servo fits in there, it was hitting on the tank and not allowing, it fits in there, sorry, it wasn't allowing the seat and tank unit to come down low enough. It was actually sticking right up in the air. So what you have to do is you have to kind of cut away a lot of the original plastic on the Kyosho bike where the servo mounts to give you clearance on the seat and tank unit. It's not too bad. You just get a Dremel, grind it away. I'll grind a little bit off the shock and everything. You know, it's a bit trial and error to get to fit, but that's okay. And also, I made a little carbon mount there just to go up and hold the tail. So that's kind of right. And I've even got the exhaust on. It's not fantastic, but I'm going to work on that. But, you know, I'm looking forward to giving this a run, because I ran it last week and I almost did a whole battery without crashing over our car park. And it's such a lovely thing to drive. You know, it's a bit slow coming back on the steering because it's got the leaning forks. It's not got the direct steering. I have got one with direct steering, but it's a bit of an animal, you know, like it clunks on the crash bars. It's fast, you know, but it loses its charm. With these, you can go sort of corner quite fast, you know, and with these tyres on, these Mars tyres, they're treaded, you know, and they've got like a hard insert on them. And the front one's got like an insert in them, you can see that there. But, you know, these tyres just seem to work so well. And I've got a set on order to try on the Venom, because I think the Venom, you know, needs better tyres for it. So, you know, that's about what I've been doing this week. I can't wait to try this tomorrow, and I'm hoping to give the Ducati a run. I've also got another tyre and engine coming, but it's the twin cylinder tyre. I don't know if you've seen it on their site. They've got a tyre twin cylinder. I bought it on pre-order probably about 6-7 weeks ago, and I've got an email last week saying that it's going to be sent out today, which is Saturday, and the 8. So I'm thinking of a project that I'm going to put that in. I'm not sure yet what it's going to go in, but you know, I've got a sort of bit of an idea, but I'm not sure. But watch this space, because that's going to be a good fun build. And the engine is supposed to like rev to 17,000, you know, so it might not be a truck. I don't know what it's going to be. If it's a truck, it's going to be fairly quick, because the little one with my single cylinder one in, that revs to I think 12,000, and with the Revo gearbox in that, it's quite fast. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. I've also got a Kyosho FW03, which I'm halfway through building. I might do a little video on that. I've had to wait for lots of parts for the fan and cooling system, pulleys and bits and pieces like that. But you know, there's lots of things coming along, so I'll keep you posted. Subscribe or thumbs up or whatever you want to do, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.